Hey guys!
And gals!
So today we will have a closer look at Damian Lillard from Frozen Wasteland, and the idea for this video came actually from my patrons, so thank you patrons for the idea and also for the support, I really appreciate it. And let's see first what we are dealing with. So Damian Lillard is a sort of a frequency splitter that will receive a signal and will split it into four bands. So here I have the FM operator and the grid sequencer from JW. Let's run the sequencer with a multiplied clock, every clock multiplied by 4. This will go to the forwards input. Then also with the normal clock, this will go to the downwards input. And another time with a divided by 4 clock to the random input, so we have a nice sequence. Let's send the FM operator to Damian Lillard, and now in this case we have band 1. Let me just zoom in a bit. Band 1, which will be everything below 73 Hz, and we can listen to this from the send output. This will be this one. Again, this is everything below 73 Hz. If I take the frequency of the oscillator, for example, down, so we have more low frequencies, we can hear it quite nicely. Okay, so this was everything below 73 Hz. Now we have 73 until 355 Hz, which will come out of here. Then we have everything between 355 to 1727. And then we have everything above 1727. So just the high or the highest frequencies. And of course we can change also the frequencies if we wish. So if we want this to start, let's say at around 100 to 500, and then to something like, I don't know, 2500, let's say. And we can also modulate everything, so the bands have CV inputs and dedicated attenuators. Okay, so let's disconnect this, and you can see also that we have a mix out, a mix output, and each band has actually a send and return, so we can apply different processing to different frequencies, to different bands. So let's send the mix out to the mixer, and I have it here. So this is now exactly the FM operator, nothing has changed. And now let's say that I want to add some delay, but I only want to add a delay to the high frequencies. So let's add a delay from AS, which will look like this. Let's set the delay time to, let's say, 285, let's say. Let's make the connection with the high frequencies, so the send output will go to the delay and will return from the delay to the return input. Oh yeah. And already we have delay, but just on what comes after 2573 Hz. Just the frequencies above that are going to the delay. And again we can change this. Let's go to about, let's say, oh yeah, 1800. Let's take the color all the way down, maybe a bit more feedback. And now, for example, if I take the feedback amount of the FM operator a bit up, we will have more high frequencies, the sound will be brighter, so more information will go through the delay. Oh yes. So again, only the frequencies above, or only the information above 1881 Hz in this case, will go to the delay and will return to Damian Lillard, and we have everything coming out of the mix output. And let's really modulate the feedback amount, so we have some more movement here. I will use, let me just zoom out a bit, I will use the sample and hold from Bog Audio. This one here, I will trigger, let's say, the lower part with the sequencer, with the sequence. Let's make sure it's set to 0 to positive 10 volts, very nice, and send this to the feedback amount. And let's raise the attenuator, open the attenuator. Very nice. So again, we have delay only on the highest frequencies above this number here, 1881 Hertz. Now let's say that I want to add some saturation or even distortion a bit to the low frequencies. So let's use the Briatus from Volt and make the connections with the low frequencies, again sending the signal to the Briatus and back to the return input. And now let's add some grit to the low frequencies, everything below 94 Hz, some saturation. Oh yeah, fold. Adds a bit more character to the sound. Now let's add some sample rate reduction to the mid-low frequencies. Let's use T-Rex from Alright Devices. Make the connection, again sending to the plugin, to the effect and back. And let's see. Oh yeah. Maybe a bit less wet signal. And you have a totally different sound. You have some layers. Now what we can also do, we can send, for example, the mid-high frequencies, let's say to Booty Shifter from Squinky Labs, which is a frequency shifter, so it will shift the frequencies up and down and will create a sort of a phasing effect. And you can see also here we have two outputs, up and down, and we can set the range. Let's take the shift amount, let's take all the way up. So it will shift the frequencies once up by 5 Hz and once down by 5. And let's do this. Let's take the send from the mid-high, and this will go to Bluetooth shifter. And from there, let's go to plateau, so some reverb. Let's take the wet all the way down for a second. And maybe add some modulation. Take the low frequencies down or out, just a bit. Maybe a bit less decay. And now instead of going back to the return input, let's go directly to a stereo channel. Left and right. Let's solo this also so we can listen. Now this is just what's going to the booty shifter and the reverb, which is the mid-high frequencies. And let's add some reverb. Oh yeah. And again, this is just the FM operator through Damian Lillard. And you can hear what a great sound design tool this can be. And it's also really nice for creating weird effects with, let's say, different delays. So let's add another one, another Damian Lillard. I will also save this patch just in case. So we have another one. And now let's add another voice, and we will use energy from the geodesics, and let's use also the AD envelope generator from Nischi, which will look like this. Send it to the multiply input of energy, which is a sort of a VCA input. And if you want to know more about energy, there will be a link in the description to a video I made about it. So if you find it interesting, go have a look. Now let's trigger the envelope with a divided clock, with a divided by 4 clock, which will go here. Very nice. And let's trigger also the second part of the sample and hold, also with the same clock. And what we will do, we will sample the pitch information from the sequencer. So this will go to the input of the sample and hold, and send this to the volt per octave input of the oscillator of energy, and send the oscillator to Damian Lillard. And from there, let's go to the mixer. I will also solo this so we can listen to it. quite simple. Let's add some decay time, maybe something like this. And let's add another sample and hold to modulate the FM. And actually, before we do this, let's change the sound of energy with changing the tuning of the oscillators. Let's take this a bit down and this a bit up. Very nice. And now let's use the same gate, the same trigger, to trigger 2 more sample and holds, and use this to modulate the FM amount. So we have a different sound with each trigger. Pretty simple, but now let's start adding some delay or delays with chronoblob, let's say, from all right devices again. Let's set it to a mono delay and sync it with our clock. Very nice. Let's change also the time modulation mode. And let's start with the mid-low frequencies. So again, I will send the signal to the effect, and from the effect it will go back to the return input. And we have a delay just on those frequencies. Let's change the delay time. Maybe a bit more feedback. Very nice. Let's add another one, another chronoblob. Again, sync it with the clock. This time set a different delay time. Let's go here. And do this for the, let's say, just for the low frequencies, or just for the high frequencies actually. 1 and 2. And let's use another chronoblob, again sync it with the clock, this time for the mid-high frequencies. Different delay time, let's go with this. And another one, let's go also with the low frequencies, 1 and 2, and different delay times. Maybe a bit less feedback here. And now what we can do, we can send only the mid-high and high frequencies, to another reverb, but we will do this from the delay module, so we send a delayed signal to the reverb. So let's see, the high is from here, so let's send this to the reverb, and the mid-high is from this chronoblob. Again, let's take the wet all the way down. And from here, let's go again directly to another mixer channel. Let's solo this also. Oh yes, and let's add some reverb. Maybe deactivate the diffuse and take it all the way down. So we have a bit more of another delay effect, sort of. Oh yeah. Let's listen to everything together. Very nice, and just imagine the possibilities, the sounds, the textures you can create with something like this, with Damian Lillard. Now let's add some bass, just for fun, with Basil from Volt. I will send it through a VCA first. Very nice, and let's use also the DADSR from Bog Audio, because I will want to sidechain the sort of bass with the bass drum that we will add later. So let's do something like this. Let's send Basil to the VCA, from there to the mixer, take it down 1 octave. Oh yeah. And then the envelope generator, we have here an inverted output, which is perfect for sidechaining. This will go to the CV input of the VCA, and let's trigger it with the main clock. Take the sustain all the way down, maybe attack just a bit down. Oh yes. Now let's add a bass drum, a kick drum with tremor Tremor 2 from Volt. Again, let's trigger it with the main clock, maybe take the bend a bit down so it's a bit darker, and send this also to the mixer. Oh yeah. And again, we can modulate all sorts of things. You can modulate the frequencies and this will act a bit like a filter, let's say, or modulate the delay times, something like this. Oh yes. Okay, and that was it. Go have fun and explore this module. It can get really crazy and interesting with feedback loops and modulation. There's lots to explore here. Like always, there will be a link in the description to this patch. Feel free to download it and take a closer look. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you enjoy what I do, consider becoming a Patreon. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and hit the bell. And have a good one.